Okay. Hello. Is this good mic volume? That sounds good. I hope, at least. Okay. I did this. Yeah, no, why would I read it in my mind? That's dumb. Yeah, no. I did this 2 years ago on like the 26th, so like 2 days ago and 2 years ago. And it took me like 45 minutes, I think. And that really hurt my throat. I am gonna read it out loud, yes. And that was fun. And then I tried doing a year later, like the 23rd of December, so around the same time. And I got like 16 minutes in before like I was live streaming on my phone at the time, and I forgot to like turn it into airplane mode. I got like 30 calls in the span of like 30 seconds. Someone was spamming me with calls, and I just decided to stop it there. So DNF on that attempt. So I don't know if I'm gonna go for speed this time. I think I'm just gonna go for safety solve, basically. Yeah. This is a educational live stream. Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully I can actually nothing happens. Like the computer just dies. And we're good. Alright. Now the question is should I okay. Do I read feat solving? Do I read Article D? Since technically feat is still in the WCA for like 3 more days? Or do I just skip it? I don't know. Sup, Nick? I don't know. I think I technically can't skip it because feat's still in the WCA as of now. So I'll just read it. It's not that long. Okay. Yeah, no, 100%. We're not doing any percent. Only 100% glitchless. I should have set up splits. I'm kind of mad I didn't set up splits. I don't know if I should skip. I should have set up splits for all articles. That'd been funny. Oh well, live and learn. Alright. I'm just gonna start, because the sooner I start, the less time it'll take. Which is smart. Yes, sir. I'll come. Okay, Article 1, Officials. 1A. A competition must include a WCA delegate and an organization team consisting of 1 or more individuals with the following officials: judges, scramblers, and score takers. 1B. The organization team of a competition is responsible for logistics before, during, and after the competition. 1C. The WCA delegate is responsible for ensuring that the competition adheres to WCA regulations and any applicable WCA policies and requirements. The WCA delegate may appoint other members of the organization team to carry out specific responsibilities on their behalf, but it is ultimately accountable for how these responsibilities are carried out. 1E. Each event must have 1 or more judges. 1E1. A judge is responsible for executing the procedures of an event. 1E1A. The judge may have multiple competitors simultaneously at the discretion of the WCA delegate, as long as the judge is able to ensure that all WCA regulations are followed at all times. Really? I didn't know that. That's a thing? That's cool. 1E2. Every competitor must be available for judging. If required to judge, a competitor may be excused only for a legitimate reason. Example being, unfamiliar with a puzzle. At the discretion of the WCA delegate, penalty disqualification from the competition. See Regulation 2K. 1F. Each event must have one or more scramblers. Exception 3x3 fewest moves. Really? Oh, one or more. Okay. 1F1. A scrambler applies scramble sequences to prepare puzzles for attempts. See Regulation 2A or Regulation A2. 1F2. Every competitor must be available for scrambling. If required to scramble, a competitor may be excused only for a legitimate reason. Example being unfamiliar with the scrambling notation. At the discretion of the WCA delegate, penalty disqualification from the competition. See Regulation 2K. Where was I? Oh, 1G. Each event must have one or more score takers. 1G1, a score taker is responsible for compiling results. 1G2, changes to the result on a score sheet are only permitted at the discretion of the WCA delegate. 1H, competitors in the same round of event may compete as a single group or be divided into multiple groups. 1H1, scramblers and judges for a round should not scramble for judge competitors in their own group before they have finished all of their attempts for the round. They may scramble for judge competitors in their own group at the discretion of the WCA delegate, but the organization team must ensure that scramblers and judges cannot see any scramble sequences for their attempts that they haven't already attempted yet. See Regulation 4B2. 1J, all officials must compete in the competition. Officials may serve multiple roles. Example being organization team, WCA delegate, judge, score taker, scrambler. Article 2. Competitors. Any person may compete in WCA competition if they... No, 2A. Any person may compete. 2A1, comply with WCA regulations. 2A2, meet the competition requirements, which must be clearly announced before the competition. 2A3, are not suspended by WCA board. 2B, competitors below the age of 18 must obtain consent from their parents/guardian to register and compete. 2C, competitors register by providing all information required by the organization team, including name, country, date of birth, gender, contact information, selected events. 2C1, competitor is not eligible to compete without a completed registration as determined by the organization team. 2C2, returning competitors must provide personal information consistent with their WCA profile. If a competitor wishes to change or update their personal information between competitions, example, a change in nationality, name, or gender, they must contact the WCA results team. 2D, a competitor's name, country, gender, and competition results are considered public information. All other personal information is considered confidential and must not be disclosed to outside organizations, persons without the consent of the competitor. 2E, competitors must represent a country which they hold citizenship. The WCA delegate should verify citizenship by means of documents, example, a passport. And at their first competition, if a competitor is found ineligible to represent the country under which they have registered, the competitor may be disqualified retroactively and or suspended at the discretion of the WCA board. 2E1, the eligible countries are defined by the WCA list of recognized countries. 2E2, competitors with updates to their citizenship status may change their country representation before or at their first competition of a calendar year, exception if their competitor loses citizenship of the country which they were previously represented. They must change their country representation before or at their next competition. See Regulation 2C2. 2E3, competitors who have no citizenship may compete as stateless. 2F, competitors must obey venue rules and conduct themselves in a considerate manner. 2G, competitors must remain quiet when inside the designated competition area. Talking is permitted, but must be kept at a reasonable level and away from competitors who are actively competing. Yeah, tell that to literally every 11-year-old. 2G3, competitors in a competitor's area must not communicate with each other about the scramble states of the puzzle of the rounds in progress. Oh my god. Can that be like on every competition sign up page? Because like I feel like a lot of it's so basic, but a lot of people don't seem to understand that that's a thing. Like you can't talk about the scrambles. Hell is Italian? Let's speak Italian. Bene. Yeah. Where was I? Oh, 2H. Competitors must be fully dressed while in the competition venue at the discretion of WCA delegate. Competitors may be disqualified from competition for inappropriate clothing. Damn. 2I. While competing, competitors must not use electronics or audio equipment. Example, cell phones, MP3 players, dictaphone. What the fuck is a dictaphone? Additional lighting. Apart from the Stackman timer or stopwatch, competitors may use non-electronic aids that do not give an unfair advantage at the discretion of WCA delegate. This includes 2I1A, medical physical aids worn by the competitor. Example, glasses, wrist braces. An exception to regulation 2I, medical aids may be electronic if the competitor does not have a comfortable non-electronic alternative. Example, the competitor has a personal hearing aid or pacemaker. 2I1B, earplugs and earmuffs but non-electronic headphones and earbuds. 2I1C, hand warmers. 2I1D, food and drink. 2I2, competitors may use cameras at the solving station at the discretion of the WCA delegate, but the following restrictions apply from the start of the attempt until the competitor stops to solve. Penalty for breaking the restriction, disqualification from the attempt, DNF. 2I2A, each camera monitor must be blinking outside the competitor. See Regulation 8.5B. 2I2B, the competitor must not interact with, example, operate, hold, wear any active camera. Exception, the competitor may wear a camera mounted on their head as long as it's out of their sight and it's clear that they're not interacting with it apart from wearing it. 2J, the WCA delegate may disqualify a competitor from a specific event. 2J1, if a competitor is disqualified from an event for any reason, they are not eligible for any more attempts in the event. 2J1A, the result of the remaining attempts is in the event are recorded as DNF. 2J2, if a competitor is disqualified during the course of the event, their earliest results remain valid. Exception, cheating or defrauding, see Regulation 2K2A. 2J2, if a competitor is disqualified during the course... Oh, wait, no, I already read that. Fuck. 2K, at the discretion of WCA delegate, a competitor may be disqualified from some events, a single event, multiple events, or all events, if the competitor 2K1 fails to check in or register on time with the competition. 2K2 is suspended of cheating or defrauding the officials during the competition. 2K2A, the WCA delegate may disqualify any suspected results. 2K3, behaves in a way that is unlawful, violent, or indecent, or intentionally damages the venue facilities or personal property within the venue. 2K4, interferes with or distracts others during the competition. 2K5, fails to abide by WCA regulations during the competition. The fuck? Bruh. I forgot where I was. Man, I'll never get WR. Whatever. 2I. A competitor may be disqualified immediately or after a warning depending on the nature and severity of the infraction. 2L1. A disqualified competitor is not eligible for the refund or of any expenses due to participating in the competition. 2N. Competitors may verbally dispute a ruling to the WCA delegate. 2N1. Disputes are only permitted during the competition within 30 minutes after the disputed incident happened and before the start of any following rounds in a relevant event. 2N2. The WCA delegate must resolve the dispute before the start of the next round of the event. 2N3, the competitor must accept all final rulings to the WCA delegate. Penalty, disqualification from the competition. 2S, competitors with disabilities that may prevent them from abiding one or more to WCA regulations may request special accommodations from the WCA delegate. Competitors requesting such accommodations should contact the organization team of the WCA delegate at least 2 weeks before the competition. 2T, each competitor must be familiar with and understanding WCA regulations before the competition. 2U, competitors must be present and ready and can be when they're called to compete for an attempt. Penalty, disqualification from the event. 2U1, exception if a competitor is not present in time for an individual scheduled event. Example, a 3x3x3 fierce moves attempt, a 3x3x3 multi-blind attempt may be considered to have declined that attempt. DNS at the discretion of WCA delegate. Article 3, puzzles. (3A) Competitors must provide their own puzzles for the competition. Look. Competitors must be ready to submit their puzzles when they are called. See Regulation 2U. 3A2 puzzles must be fully operational such that normal scrambling is possible. Polyhedral puzzles must use a color scheme with one unique color per face in the solid state. Each puzzle variation which moves states and solutions functionally identical to the original puzzle. 3D puzzles must have colored parts which define the color scheme of the puzzle, then must be one and only of the following: colored stickles, colored tiles, colored plastic or painted printed colors. All colored parts of the puzzle must be made of a similar material. 3D1 for competitors with a medically documented visual disability, the following exceptions apply. 3D1A blind competitors may use textured puzzles with different textures on different faces. Each face should have a distinct color to aid in scrambling and judging. 3D1A blind competitors may use textured puzzles with different textures on different faces. Each face should have a distinct color to aid in scrambling and judging. 3D1B colorblind competitors who cannot distinguish between necessary number of colors may use colored parts with patterns if it has been explicitly approved according to Regulation 2S. Patterns may come from the stickers or be drawn. 3D2 the colors of colored parts must be solid with one uniform color per face. Each color must be clearly distinct from other colors. 3H modifications that enhance the basic concept of a puzzle are not permitted. Modified versions of puzzle are permitted only if the modification does not make any additional information available to the competitor. Example: orientation or identity of pieces compared to an unmodded version of the same puzzle. 3H1 pillared puzzles are permitted. 3H2 puzzles whose colored plastic is visible inside the puzzle. Example: stickerless in quotes. Puzzles are permitted. This does not include any of the following puzzles. 3H2A puzzles with transparent parts, exception, and overlay stickers. See Regulation 3I. 3H3 any modifications to a puzzle that result in poor performance by a competitor are not grounds for additional attempts. 3H4 for clock custom inserts in quotes the same shape and size of traditional paper inserts are permitted at the discretion of the WCA delegate. The inserts must have a clear identification of 12 o'clock that matches the original inserts. 3J puzzles must be clean and must not have any markings, elevated pieces, damage, or any other differences that significantly distinguish any piece from a similar piece. Exception, a logo. See Regulations 3I. I don't know. 3J1 puzzles are permitted to have a reasonable wear at the discretion of WC delegate. 3J2 definition: two pieces are similar to each other if they are identical in shape and size or mirrored in a shape and identical in size. 3J3 corrugated textured parts which permit the orientation of pieces to be distinguished by feel are not permitted for blindfolded attempts. 3K puzzles should not be approved by the WCA delegate before use in the competition. 3K1 if a non-permitted puzzle is found during a round, the competitor must not continue to use that puzzle and must submit a replacement. 3K2 penalty for attempts done with puzzles which are not permitted, disqualification from that attempt. The following exceptions apply. 3K2A if a non-permitted puzzle is found before a round is complete, affected puzzles in the round may be replaced with extra attempts at the discretion of the WCA delegate. 3K2 3x3x3 multi-blind if any puzzle is found to be non-permitted, such puzzles may be individually counted as unsolved without disqualifying the entire attempt at the discretion of the WCA delegate. 3L a puzzle may have a logo on a colored part. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Okay, it is L. 3L puzzle may have a logo on a colored part. If it does, it must not. It at most one colored part with a logo. Exception for blindfolded bunch of puzzle may not have a logo. That's retarded. That's not good. I don't get why they have that rule. I don't know. You can feel the sign. Doesn't make sense. 3L1, the logo must be placed in the centerpiece. Exceptions for puzzles that do not have centerpieces. 3L1A, for pyramids and 2x2, the logo may be placed on any piece. That gives me ideas. 3L1B, for square one, the logo must be on a piece in the equatorial slice. 3L2, the logo may be embossed, engraved, or consist of an overlay sticker. 3M, all brands of puzzles and puzzle parts are permitted as long as the puzzles comply with WCA regulations. Article 4, scrambling. Okay, I already said Article 4. Okay. 4A, scrambler applies scramble sequences to the puzzles. 4B, puzzles must be scrambled using computer-generated random scrambling sequences. 4B1, generated scramble sequences must not be inspected before the competition and must not be filtered or selected in any way by the WCA delegate. 4B2, scramble sequences for a group must be available only to the WCA delegate before the start of that group and not available to WCA delegate and the scramblers from the group until it's finished. Exception for 3x3x3 fierce moves. Competitors receive scramble sequences during the round. See Article E. 4B2A, the designated WCA delegate for the competition must only give access to scramble sequences for future groups to other members of the organization team if they will be temporarily unavailable. Example, competing themselves, and should give others access to the minimum possible amount of scrambles in this case. 4B3, specification for a scramble program. An official scramble sequence must produce a random state for those that require at least 2 moves to solve. What? An official scramble sequence must produce a random state from those that require at least 2 moves to solve, equal probability for each state. The following exceptions apply. For blindfolded events, the scramble sequence must orient the puzzle randomly, equal probability for each orientation. 2x2x2 cube, the random state must require at least 4 moves to solve. Cube, the random state must require at least 7 moves to solve. Square one, the random state must require at least 11 moves to solve. 5x5 cubes, 6x6, 7x6, 6x6x6 cubes, 7x7x7 cubes, and Mega makes sufficiently many random moves instead of random state. At least 2 moves to solve. What the fuck? Pyraminx, the random state must require at least 6 moves to solve. Okay, first of all, I've done this twice, and the second time I stopped at 16 minutes because I got like 30 phone calls, so I did it once and a half, not even a half, once and a third ish. Probably, I can't remember what it was. Man, this 6x6 got me acting strange. Why does it say at least 2 moves to solve 5 through 7 in Mega? That'd be like 2 moves. So it's bruh. Okay. 4B4. Each scramble sequence should be applied during a maximum time frame of 2 hours. This time frame starts when the scramble sequence is applied for the first time. 4D. Scrambling orientation. 4D1. N by N cubes and Mega Mix are scrambled, starting with the white face if not possible, then the lightest face on top, and the darkest adjacent green face if not possible, then darkest adjacent face on the front. 42. Pyraminx is scrambled starting with the yellow face if not possible, then the lightest face on the bottom, and the green face if not possible, then the darkest adjacent face on the front. 43. Square one is scrambled starting with the darker color on the front out of 2 possible scrambling orientations. Yeah, okay, right. 44. Clock is scrambled starting with either side in front and 12 o'clock pointing up. Skew is scrambled with the white face is not possible, and then the lightest face on top, and then the green face is not possible, darkest adjacent face on the front left. 4F. Competition scramble sequences must be generated using a current official version of WCA Scramble program available via the WCA website. 4G. After scrambling a puzzle, the scrambler must verify that the puzzle is scrambled correctly. If the puzzle state is wrong, the scrambler must correct it, example, by solving the puzzle and applying the scramble sequence again. 4G1. Exception for the 6x6x6 cube and 7x7x7 cube and Mega Mix. I did not know Mega Mix was included in this. It is not necessary to correct the puzzle state at the I always thought you had to solve Mega if you fucked up. That's weird. Article 5. Puzzle defects. Okay. Examples of puzzle defects include 5A. Examples of puzzle defects include pop parts, pieces twisted in place, the detached screws, caps, stickers. 5B. If a puzzle defect occurs during an attempt, the competitor may choose to either repair the defect or continue the attempt, or to stop the attempt. 5B1. If the competitor chooses to repair the puzzle, they must repair only the defective part. Tools and or parts of the puzzle must not be used to repair the original puzzle. Penalty disqualification from the attempt. DNF. Period. 5B2, any repair to the puzzle must not give the competitor an advantage in solving the puzzle. Penalty disqualification of the attempt, DNF. 5B3, permitted repairs. 5B3A, if any parts have fallen out or moved out of place, the competitor may place them back. 5B3B, if after repairing the puzzle but before the end of the attempt the competitor finds that the puzzle is unsolvable, they may disassemble and reassemble a maximum of 4 pieces to make the puzzle solvable. 5B3C, if the puzzle is unsolvable and can be made solvable by rotating a single corner piece, the competitor may correct the corner piece by twisting it in place without disassembling the puzzle. 5B4, during a blindfolded phase, see regulation B4, all repairs must be performed blindfolded. Penalty disqualification from the attempt, DNF. 5B5, if at the end of the attempt some parts of the puzzle are physically detached or not fully placed, the following regulations apply. Oh my god. 5B5A, if one or more parts without a colored face are affected, the puzzle is considered solved. 5B5B, if one part with one colored face is affected, the puzzle is considered solved. 5B5C, if more than one part with one colored face is affected, the puzzle is considered unsolved, DNF. 5B5D, if one or more parts with more than one colored face are affected, the puzzle is considered unsolved, DNF. 5B5E regulations, 5B5C and 5B5D supersede 5B5A and 5B5B. H. Yes, H. Okay. Article 7, Environment. 7B, spectators must remain at least 1.5 meters away from the solving stations when they are in use. 7C, lighting in the competition area must be given special attention. Lighting should be neutral such that the competitors can easily differentiate among the colors on the puzzle. 7E, the competition area must be smoke-free. 7, no mad jewel rips in the competition area, alright? Where am I? As 7F, solving stations. 7F1, definition. 7F1A, stack mat, the speed stack mat timer, and the full-size compatible mat. Generation 2, Generation 3, Pro timer, and Generation 4. Why would you do or and Generation 4 Pro timer must be used for time measurement. 7F1B mat, the mat of the stack mat. 7F1C timer, the timer of the stack mat is a stopwatch for longer attempts. 7F1D surface, the flat surface on which the stack mat has been placed. The mat is considered a part of the surface. The timer is not considered a part of the surface. 7F2, the stack mat timer must be attached to the mat and placed on the surface with the timer on the side of the mat nearest to the competitor. 7F2A, exception for 3x3x3 with feet. The stack mat must be placed directly on the floor. The timer device may be placed on the side of the mat farthest from the competitor. 7H, the competition area must have one or more competitor areas. 7H1, the organization team may require that a competitor who has been called to compete must remain within their assigned competitor's area until the competitor has finished all attempts for the round. How many articles are there? I'm on 9. It's like that more. Okay, this is a long one. Article 9, events. Bro. 9A, the WCA governs competitions for mechanical puzzles that are operated by twisting groups of pieces, commonly known as twisty puzzles. 9B, the official events of WCA are 9B1, 3x3x3 cube, 2x2x2 cube, 4x4x4 cube, 5x5x5 cube, 3x3x3 one-handed, 3x3x3 with feet, L, clock, Megaminx, Pyraminx, cube, and square 1. 9B1A, round formats for the events. Average of 5. 9B1B, combined round formats of the events. Best of 2, cutoff phase for average of 5. 9B2, 6x6x6 cube and 7x7x7 cube. 9B2A, round formats for these events. Mean of 3. 9B2B, combined round formats for these events. Best of 1 cutoff phase, mean of 3. 9B3, 3x3x3 blindfolded and 4x4x4 blindfolded and 5x5x5 blindfolded. 9B3A, Round formats for these events: best of 3, 9B, 3B. For these events, the WCA also recognizes mean of 3 rankings and records based on the times from best of 3 rounds. 9B4, 3x3x3 fewest moves. 9B4A round formats for these events: best of X, where X is 1 or 2, or mean of 3. 9B4B, combined round formats for this event: best of 1 cutoff phase for best of 2 or best of X, where X is 1 or 2 cutoff phase for a mean of 3. 9B5, 3x3x3 multi-blind. Yeah. Again, yeah. 9F, the results of a round are measured as follows. 9F1, all timed results under 10 minutes except for 3x3x3 multi-blind are measured and truncated to the nearest hundredth of a second. All timed averages and means under 10 minutes are measured and rounded to the nearest hundredth of a second. 9F2, all timed results, averages, and means over 10 minutes, as well as times for 3x3x3 multi-blind results are measured and rounded to the nearest second. Example being times 0.49 or x 0.49 becomes x 0.50 becomes x plus 1. 9F4, the result of an attempt is recorded as DNF. Did not finish if the attempt is disqualified or unsolved. Finished. 9F5. The result of an attempt is recorded as DNS. Did not start if the competitor is eligible for an attempt but declines it. 9F6. For best of X rounds, each competitor is allotted X attempts. The best result of those attempts determines the competitor's ranking in the round. For best of X rounds, a DNF or DNS is the worst possible attempt. For average of 5 rounds, competitors are allotted 5 attempts. Of these 5 attempts, the best and worst attempts are removed, and the arithmetic mean of the remaining, I have a headache, 3 attempts. I want to get better, okay? I think I'm going to go dry there. Remaining 3 attempts determines the competitor's ranking in the round. 9F9, for average of 5 rounds, 1 DNF or DNS is permitted to count the competitor's worst result of the round. If a competitor has more than 1 DNF and or DNS result in the round, their average result for the round is DNF. 9F10, for mean of 3 rounds, the competitors are allotted 3 attempts. The arithmetic mean of the 3 attempts determines the competitor's ranking in the round. 9F11, for mean of 3 rounds, if the competitor has at least 1 DNF or DNS result, their average results for the round is DNF. 9F12, for best of X rounds, rankings are assessed based on the best result per competitor. The following are used to compare results. 9F12A, for time results, better is defined as the shorter time. 9F12B, for 3x3x3 fewest moves, better is defined as the shorter solution length. Oh, who would have guessed? 9F12C, for 3x3x3 multi-blind, rankings are assessed based on the number of puzzles solved minus the number of puzzles not solved, where a greater difference is better if the difference is less than 0, or if only 1 puzzle is solved, the attempt is considered unsolved DNF. If competitors achieve the same result, rankings are assessed based on total time, where the shorter recorded time is better. If competitors achieve the same result in the same time, rankings are assessed based on the number of puzzles the competitors fail to solve, where few unsolved puzzles are better. 9F13, for mean of 3, the average of 5, and average of 5 rounds. Rankings are assessed based on the ordering of the averages means of the competitors, where better is the smaller recorded result. 9F14. For mean of 3, average of 5 rounds, if 2 or more competitors achieve identical averages, mean results, rankings are assessed based on the attempt per competitor, where better is defined as a smaller recorded result. 9F15, competitors who achieve the same result in a round receive an identical ranking for the round. 9G, a combined round is a round with the best of X cutoff phase and cutoff result. Example being best of 2 with a cutoff result of 2 minutes If the competitor meets the cutoff result in at least one of their cutoff phase attempts, they are eligible for the remaining attempts. Attempts from the cutoff phase count towards the full round format. 9I. Results of the official WCA competitions must be listed on WCA World Rankings. 9I1. If the WCA recognizes the following types of regional records: national records, continental records, and world records. 9I2. All the results of a round are considered to take place on the last calendar date of the round. If a regional record is broken multiple times on the same calendar date, only the best result is recognized as breaking that regional record. 9I3. If the WCA regulations for an event are changed, existing regional records stand until they are broken under the new WCA regulations. 9J. Each event must be held at most once per competition. 9K. All competitors may participate in all events of a competition, except in cases specifically approved by the board. 9L. Each round must be completed before any following round of the same event can start. 9M. Events must have at most 4 rounds. 9M1. Rounds with 99 or fewer competitors must have at most 2 subsequent rounds. 9M2. Rounds with 15 or fewer competitors must have at most 1 subsequent I can't speak words. Round. 9M3. Rounds with 7 or fewer competitors must not have subsequent rounds. 9O. Combined rounds count as 1 round when counting the number of rounds per event. 9P. If an event is multiple rounds, then 9P1 at least 25% of the competitors must be eliminated between consecutive rounds in the same best event. 9P2. The competitors who advance the next round must be determined by rankings by 6 competitors or by result of competitors with a better result than X in the preceding round. 9P2A. For each round, advancement conditions must be announced before the round starts and should not be changed after it has begun. Changes must be made at the discretion of the WCA delegate, who must carefully consider the fairness of the change. 9P3. If a qualifying competitor withdraws from a round, they must be replaced by the best ranked non-qualifying competitor from the preceding round. 9I. Each round of each event must have a time limit. See Regulation A1A. What's on my wall? Those? This room used to be, my brother's room when he was like 2 months. So he, he had like his crib in here. I wasn't born for like 3 years, and there was like, I've seen pictures. There's like, bunch of like animals or something going around here, and there's still like stuff on here that like was holding them, because I guess no one decided to take it down. Now I just kind of moved my computer in here, so, and yes, I am the Valkyrie, only the 5th best meme page on Instagram. Where? Yeah. So there was like animals. I haven't seen pictures of that since I was like 11. I should ask to like see a picture of that again, because is it Morse code? I don't know Morse code. It probably says like you just lost the game or something. Article 10. Solid state. 10B. Only the resting state of the puzzle after the timer has been stopped is considered. 10C. The puzzle may be in any orientation at the end of the attempt. 10D. All parts of the puzzle must be physically attached to the puzzle and fully placed in their required positions. Exception. See Regulation 5B5. 10E. A puzzle is solved when all colored parts are reassembled and all parts are aligned within the limits specified below. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, yeah, I mean, huh. It's crazy. Okay, shit. I'm just gonna do 10E again. A puzzle solving, I already said that. Wait, no. 10E, a puzzle is solved when all colored parts are reassembled and their parts are aligned with the limits within the limits specified below. 10E1. For every 2 adjacent parts, example being 2 parallel adjacent slices of a cube, of the puzzle are misaligned by more than a limit described in Regulation 10F. The puzzle is considered to require one additional move to solve. See outer block turn metric in Article 12. 10E2, if no further moves are required to bring the puzzle to its solved state, the puzzle is considered solved without penalty. 10E3, if one move is required, the puzzle is considered solved with a time penalty plus 2 seconds. 10E4, if more than one move is required, the puzzle is considered unsolved. DNF. 10F, limits of acceptable misalignments for puzzles. 10F1, n by n cubes. Alright, see ya. Wait. I'm trying to do like three things here. Hold on. Burger King. Okay. 10F1, n by n cubes, at most 45 degrees. 10F2, Megaminx, at most 36 degrees. 10F3, Pyramix and Cube, at most 60 degrees. 10F4, Square 1, at most 45 degrees. UD, or 90 degrees. Slice. Puzzles not specified in this article are judged according to the solved state as defined by the generally accepted goal of the puzzle. 10H1, the solved state of a clock is achieved when all 18 inner clock faces point to 12 o'clock. Incidents. 11A incidents include 11A1, incorrect execution of the event procedures by officials or competitors. 11A2, interference of faculty interruptions, example being power failure, emergency alarm activation. 11A3, equipment malfunction. 11B, if an incident occurs, the WCA delegate determines an impartial and appropriates a course of action. 11D, if the WCA regulation is not fully clear, or if the incident is not covered by WCA regulations, then the WCA delegate must make a decision based on fair sportsmanship. I'll see regulation 11E3. If an incident occurs during the attempt, the WCA delegate may grant a competitor an extra attempt at replacing the attempt during which the incident occurred. The competitor must appeal verbally or in writing to the judge and the WCA delegate at the time of the incident before finishing the original attempt. To be eligible for an extra attempt, an appeal does not guarantee the competitor an extra attempt. 11E1, if a competitor is granted an extra attempt, the extra attempt must be scrambled using different scramble sequence. This scramble sequence must be generated using a current official version of an official WCA scramble program. See Regulation 4F. 11E2, if a competitor is granted an extra attempt, the extra attempt must be done right after the attempt that caused it and must replace the original regularly numbered attempt. 11E3, if it is unclear whether an incident should result in an extra attempt, the competitor may be granted a provisional extra attempt that will be used only if it is later found that an extra attempt was appropriate. Example being by a decision of the WRC. 11F, decisions about an incident may be supported with video or photographic analysis at the discretion of the WCA delegate. 11G, the WCA delegate must ensure that copies of the regulation and guidelines are available, example being printed, digital, or accessible via internet to consult for any incidents. Hey, how much do I have? Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. No, don't come over in 20 minutes. Shit. Fuck. Article 12, notation. 12A, notation for n by n cubes. 12A1, face moves, outer slice. 12A1A, clockwise, 90 degrees. F, front face. B, back face. R, right face. L, left face. U, upper face. D, bottom face. 12A1B, counterclockwise, 90 degrees. F inverted, B inverted, R inverted, L inverted, U inverted, D inverted. 12A1C, 180 degrees. F2, B2, R2, L2, U2, D2. 12A2, outer block moves, outer slice with adjacent inner slices for each of the moves defined below. N is the total number of slices to move, which must be in the range 1 is less than n, which 1 is less than n, which is less than n, where n is the number of layers in the puzzles. N may also be omitted for an implicit value of n equals 2 slices. Outer block moves are 12A, 2A, clockwise 90 degrees, NFW. and B wide, and R wide, and L wide, and U wide, and D wide. 12A2B counterclockwise 90 degrees, and F wide inverted, and B wide inverted, and R wide inverted, and L wide inverted, and U wide inverted, and D wide inverted. 12A2C 180 degrees, and F wide 2, and B wide 2, and R wide 2, and L wide 2, and U wide 2, and D wide 2. 12A4 rotations, entire puzzle. Oh my god. This is the point where I have a mental breakdown. Fuck! Okay. 12A4 rotations, entire puzzle. Holy shit. 12A4A clockwise, 90 degrees. F, or Z, B, or Z inverted, R, or X, L, or X inverted, U, or Y, D, or Y inverted. 12A, 4B, counterclockwise 90 degrees, F inverted, or Z inverted, or B inverted, or Z, R inverted, or X inverted, L inverted, or X, U inverted, or Y, D inverted, or fucking Y. 12A, 4C, 180 degrees, F2 or Z2, B2 or Z2, R2 or X2, L2 or X2, U2 or Y2, D2 or Y2. 12A5, outer block turn matrix, OBTM, is defined as 12A5A. Each move of the category's face moves and outer blocks is counted as 1 move. 12A5B, each move of the rotation category is counted as 0 moves. 12A6, execution turn metric, ETM, is defined as each move of the category's face moves, outer block moves, and rotations counted as 1 move. 12C notations for square 1. 12C1 moves are applied with one of the two small surfaces in the equatorial slicer left in the front face. 12C2 XY means turn upper layers X times 30 degrees clockwise, turn bottom layers Y times 30 degrees clockwise. X and Y must be integers from -5 to 6, cannot be both equal to 0. 12C3 slash means slice. Turn the right half of the puzzle 180 degrees. 12C4 metric for square 1. XY counts as 1 move. Slash slice counts as 1 move. 12D notation for Megaminx. Scrambling notation only. 12D1 face moves. 12D1A clockwise 72 degrees. U upper face. 12D1B counterclockwise 72 degrees. U inverted upper face. 12D2 outer moves are applied while keeping 3 pieces fixed at the top of the puzzle. 12D2C clockwise 144 degrees. Move of the whole puzzle except for the slice of the top left 3 pieces. R++ vertical slices, D++ horizontal slices. 12D2D counterclockwise 144 degrees. Move the puzzle except for the slice of the top 3 pieces. R dot slash hyphen vertical slices, D negative horizontal slices. 12E, notation for pyramids. 12E1, the puzzle is oriented with the bottom face completely horizontal, the front face facing the person who's holding the pyramid. 12E2, clockwise 120 degrees. U, upper 2 layers. L, left 2 layers. R, right 2 layers. B, back 2 layers. U, upper vertex. L, tips are called fucking vertexes apparently. U, upper vertex. L, left vertex. R, right vertex. B, back vertex. 12E3 counterclockwise 120 degrees. U inverted, upper 2 layers. L inverted, upper left 2 layers. R inverted, right 2 layers. B inverted, back 2 layers. U inverted, upper vertex. L inverted, upper left vertex. R inverted, right vertex. B inverted, back vertex. Notate 12G, notation for clock. 12G1, the puzzle is oriented with 12 o'clock on the top and either side and front. 12D2, move pins up. UR, top right. DR, bottom right. DL, bottom left. UL, top left. U, both top. R, both right. D, both bottom. L, both left. All all is all. All is all. Why is that not the same? 12G3, turn a wheel next to an up position pin and move all pins down afterwards. X plus X clockwise turns. X negative X counterclockwise turns. Turn up around the puzzle so that 12 o'clock stays on top and then move all pins down. Y2. 12H, notation for skew. 12H1, the puzzle is oriented with the 3 faces fully visible where the upper face is on the top. 12H2, clockwise 20 degrees. R, the layer around the furthest visible bottom right vertex. 0, the layer around the farthest visible upper vertex. L, the layer around the farthest visible bottom left vertex. B, the layer around the farthest non-visible back vertex. 12H3, counterclockwise 120 degrees. R inverted, the layer around the farthest visible bottom right vertex. You invert the layer on the farthest visible upper vertex. L invert the layer on the farthest visible bottom vertex. B invert the layer on the farthest non-visible back vertex. I need a minute. I can get sub an hour. Actually, the stream is 25 seconds behind. Weird. Okay. How much do I have left? That's a lot. That's a fucking hell of a lot. Oh my god. Might just have to bail. Article A, speed solving. A1, speed solving items must abide by the following procedures. A1A, the organization team must apply exactly one kind of time limit per attempt, or cumulative time limit to each round. A1, the default time limit is 10 minutes for each attempt on the round, though the organization team may announce a higher or lower time limit per attempt. In this case, the limits must be the same for all attempts in a round. A1, A2, for events other than 3x3x3 fierce moves and 3x3x3 multi-blind, organization team may define a cumulative time limit. The cumulative time limit must either apply to all attempts in one round, example being 3 attempts with cumulative time limit and 20 attempts, or to all attempts in the combination of rounds for different events. In this case, the time limit for a particular attempt is cumulative time limit minus the total time in other attempts counted towards the time limit so far. See regulation A1, A5. If around an applicable cumulative time limit, it must have at most uno. A1A3, the time limit for all rounds must be announced before the competition and should not be changed after any affected rounds have begun. Changes must be made at discretion of WCA delegate and must carefully consider the fairness of the change. A1A4, the competitor must end each solve before the time limit for the attempt is reached. If a competitor's timer reached the time limit for an attempt, the judge stops the solve immediately and records the result as a DNF, exception 3x3x3 multi-blind. See regulation H1B1. A1A5. The time counting towards the time limit for attempt is either a result after time penalties are applied. The result was not a DNF for the time elapsed in the solve if the result was DNF. A1B. If the time limit for an attempt is greater than 10 minutes, a stopwatch must be used for timekeeping. A1B1, a stag map must be used in addition to the stopwatch, exception for events without inspection where the competitor is expected to exceed 10 minutes. Use of the stack mat is optional. I'm up. I can't. Okay. Where was I? Fuck. Where was I? Shit. Whatever. I'm just gonna read A1, A3. The time limit for all rounds must be announced. Oh wait, yeah, I did that. A1, A4. The competitor must end each solve before the time limit for the attempt is reached. Competitor's timer. Okay, I did that. A1, A5. The time counting toward the time limit for attempt is either a result of the time penalties are applied if the result was not DNF, or the time elapsed in the solve if the result was DNF. A1B. The time limit for the attempt is greater than 10 minutes. Okay, I did this. Use of the stackman is optional. A1, B2. If a time from the stackman timer is available, it is the original recorded time. Otherwise, stopwatch time is the original recorded time. A1C. A competitor participating in an event must be able to fulfill the event's requirements. Example, know how to solve the puzzle. A competitor must not compete with the expectation of a DNF result or intentionally poor result. Penalty, disqualification from the attempt, or disqualification from the event. See Regulation 2J at the discretion of the WCA delegates. A2 scrambling. A2A when I need to finish because I'm 50 minutes in. I don't think I can finish though. I don't know, man. I don't know. Is there a point to finishing? Yes, because, but like, listen, I'm here. I got that much more to go. I'm gonna fucking aggro this and just spit some fucking bars. A2 scrambling. A2 when called for a run, the competitor submits the puzzle and then solves it to the scramble. The competitor then waits in their assigned competitor's area until they call the scramble. A2B, the scramble scrambles the puzzle according to regulations in Article 4. A2B 1 for square 1. The organization may enforce placing of an object in puzzle for an action moves to be applied for the start of the attempt. These objects are used. This must be announced before the round starts. A2C after the scrambler starts scrambling the puzzle, the competitor must not see the puzzle until inspection phase starts. A2C at 1. The scrambler places a cover over the scrambled puzzle. That makes it impossible for any competitors to scramble spectators to see any parts of the puzzle. The cover remains over the puzzle until the start of the attempt. A2D. When taking a puzzle from the scrambler, the judge briefly inspects the puzzle to ensure thorough scrambling of the puzzle. The judge raises any concerns with the scrambler, who then conducts a detailed check. A2D. When the organization team should require scramblers to sign or initial the score sheet to affirm that they have applied the correctly numbered scramble sequences and check that it matches the image. A2E, the judge places the puzzle onto the mat in an arbitrary orientation while ensuring that it remains completely covered. A2E1, the competitor is not permitted to request a specific orientation, and the judge must not influence the orientation they place the puzzle on the mat based on what they know or expect the puzzle state to be. A3 inspection. A3A, the competitor may inspect the puzzle at the start of each attempt. A3A1, the competitor is allowed a maximum of 15 seconds to inspect the puzzle and start the solve. A3B, the judge prepares the timer by turning it in a setting if necessary. Separately, the judge also prepares a stopwatch for timing inspection. A3B1, when the judge believes the competitor is ready, the judge then asks, "Ready?" Why is that in all caps? Ready. The competitor must be ready to start the attempt within 1 minute of being called, or else the competitor forfeits the attempt. DNS. At the discretion of the judge. A3B2, the competitor starts the attempt by confirming that they are ready, and the judge uncovers the puzzle start the timer inspection. A3C, the competitor may pick up the puzzle during inspection. A3C1, the competitor must not apply moves during inspection. Penalty, disqualification from the attempt. DNF. A3C2, if the parts of the puzzle are not fully aligned, the competitor may align the faces along the misaligned. Same thing. Regulation 10F. A3C3, the competitor may reset the timer before the start of the solve. A3C4, for square 1, if the use of a thin object inside the puzzle has been enforced by the organization team. See Regulation A2B1, the competitor may remove the object from the puzzle during the inspection. A3D, at the end of the inspection, the competitor places the puzzle on the mat, and any rotation penalty for placing outside the mat, time penalty plus 2 seconds. A3D2, when 8 seconds of the inspection of the last, the judge calls 8 seconds. A3D3, when 12 seconds of attempt to elapse, the judge calls 12 seconds. All caps. No. Fucking no, bitch. Hey, got all this paper, I don't go to class. Shall you look over that little stuff there? I don't know. A4, starting the solve. A4B, the competitor uses their fingers to touch the evaluated sensor surfaces at the time the competitor's palm must be facing down, located on the side of the timer that is closer to the competitor. Penalty, time penalty, plus 2 seconds. A4B1, the competitor must have no physical contact with the puzzle while starting the solve. Penalty over plus 2 seconds. A4D, if the segment timers and these competitors should keep their hands on the timer until they say agree timer light. They start the slide by removing their hands from the timer, thus starting the timer. A4D1, the competitor must start the solve within 15 seconds of the start of the inspection. Penalty, time penalty, plus 2 seconds. A4D2, the competitor must start the solve within 17 seconds of the start of the inspection. The penalty, disqualification of the attempt, DNF. A4D3, if a stopwatch is in use, the judge starts the stopwatch as soon as the competitor starts to solve. A4E, time penalties for starting the start are cumulative. You shall go, Willie. A5, during the solve. A5A, while inspecting or solving the puzzle, the competitor must not communicate with anyone other than the judge or the WCA delegate. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. A5B, while inspecting or solving the puzzle, the competitor must not receive assistance from anyone or any object other than the surface. See Regulation 2I, penalty, disqualification of the attempt. A6, starting the solve. A6A, the competitor releases the puzzle before stopping the solve and stops the timer by stopping the timer. The stopwatch is used. The judge stops the stopwatch as soon as the competitor does this. A6A, when using a stopwatch as the only timer, the competitor stops the solve by releasing the puzzle and notifying the judge that they have stopped this solve. The judge stops the stopwatch as soon as the competitor does this. A6 2A, when using a stopwatch as the only timer, the competitor's default notification signal consists of releasing the puzzle from their hands and placing their hands on the surface, palms down. The competitor and the judge may agree on another appropriate notification before the start of the attempt. A6B, the competitor is responsible for stopping the stack by timer correctly. A6B1, the competitor stops it. If the timer stops before the competitor has solved the puzzle and the timer shows a time strictly below 0.06 seconds, then the attempt is replaced by an extra attempt. A competitor forfeits the right to the additional time the WCA delegate determines that the timer stopped deliberately. If the timer stops before the competitor has solved the puzzle and displays a time of 0.6 seconds or higher, when the attempt is disqualified, DNF. Exception, if the competitor can demonstrate that the timer malfunctioned, they may receive an extra attempt at the discretion of a WCA delegate. That's actually funny. No, I'm not gonna sub one. I can't. This be so fucking wavy. UWR is too hard. UWR, I couldn't do that if I tried. It's so hard. Actually, I think Ari might have a good time. Now that I think about it, I feel like I remember. Is it him who had this? It was like a year ago. Yeah, no, he has a 45. Okay, he has a 45. And then UWR is 40. I'm gonna get like a 110? I don't know. I don't know, man. I need like a 1 minute break. I can't remember where I was. Yeah, A6C, the competitor must fully release the puzzle before stopping the timer. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. DNF, exception if no moves have been applied after stopping the timer before releasing the puzzle. A time penalty plus 2 seconds may be assigned instead. At discretion of the judge, A6C, the competitor must stop the timer using both hands placed flat on the sensors with palms down. Penalty, time penalty plus 2 seconds. A6C, after releasing the puzzle, the competitor must not touch or remove the puzzle until the judge has inspected the puzzle. Penalty, disqualification from the attempt. DNF, exception if no moves have been applied. The time penalty plus 2 seconds may be assigned instead at the discretion of the judge. A6F. Question mark? This isn't a good song. This is a good song. Okay. A6F, the competitor must not reset the timer until the judge has recorded the result. And the score sheet penalty is disqualification from the attempt DNF at the discretion of the judge. A6F1, if the competitor resets the timer before the result has been completely recorded, the judge must not write down the result for the memory or from video or photographic evidence and must disqualify the attempt DNF. A6G, the judge determines whether the puzzle is solved. They must not touch the puzzle before they've determined whether to assign a penalty for the misalignment. Exception, for clock, the judge will usually need to pick up the puzzle to verify both faces. A6H, in case of a dispute, moves or alignments must not be applied to the puzzle before the dispute is resolved. A6I, time penalties for stopping the solver cumulative. A7, recording results. A7, the judge tells the competitor the result. A7A1, the judge finds that the puzzle is solved. They call OK. A7A2, if the judge assigns any penalties, they call penalty. Imagine plus twoing, and then the fucking judge. Imagine plus twoing, and the fucking judge just goes penalty. Oh my god. I'm gonna do that. If I'm next time I'm judging someone plus twos, I'm just gonna like penalty and be like, oh no, it's okay. It says in the regs I gotta call penalty. And then, you know, if the result is a DNF, the judge just goes fucking DNF. Dumbass. I can. This right here. I like these regs. The judge records the result. A7B, the judge records the result on the score sheet and then signs next to the result to acknowledge that the result is correct, complete, and properly formatted and clearly readable. A7B1, if penalties are assigned, the judge records the original recorded time displayed on the timer along with any penalties. The format should be X plus T plus Y equals F, where X represents the sum of times penalties before starting the solve, T represents the time displayed on the timer, the original recorded time, Y represents the sum of time penalties during the solve, and F represents the final time. Example being 2 plus 1765 plus 2 equals 21.65. If X and or Y is 0, the zero terms are omitted. Example being 17.65 plus 2 equals 19.65. A7C, the competitor must check the recorded result and sign or initial the score sheet to acknowledge that the result is correct, completely, properly formatted, clearly readable. This finishes the attempt. A7C1, if the competitor or the judge refuses to accept and sign the score sheet, the WCA delegate must resolve the dispute. A7C2, if the competitor signs or otherwise marks an attempt before they have begun it, they forfeit the attempt and the result will be considered DNS. A7C3, if the competitor signs or otherwise marks an attempt after starting the attempt, but before the judge has finished recording the result, the attempt will be considered unfinished. DNF. A7C4, the competitor should not sign an attempt before the judge has recorded and signed the attempt. The competitor is ultimately responsible for ensuring that they and the judge have signed the attempt. If the attempt, the competitor is responsible. That's gay. Rip my 737. And the judge signed the attempt. If the attempt is found to be missing one or both signatures after the judge delivers a score sheet to the score taker, see regulation A7F, it will be considered unfinished. DNF. A7F, when the competitor's score sheet for a round is complete, the judge delivers the score sheet to the score taker. A7G, at the discretion of the WCA delegate, an incident or penalty caused by a new competitor's inexperience may be replaced with an extra attempt. Really? So I could just like claim dumb ignorance, be like, oh, I'm inexperienced. I don't know about it. I should get an extra attempt. Is that the strat? Low-key. I would never. Plus, no one believed that. Too quick. Cubers. I've been going dumb. Dumb. I've been going dumb. Been going dumb. Okay, I'm on Article B, right? Not that much left. Feet solving yellow. Okay. Shit. Okay, blindfolded solving. Fuck blindfolded solving. We didn't solve it blind. That's what I literally just pulled that up. Yeah, he got like a 45. I was like, shit. Not sub Parker, not sub Ari, not sub some Russian person that someone told me got like a 40. It's too hard. I'll stick to Petaminx. Dumb. I'll be going dumb. Okay, Article B, blindfolded solving. B1, standard speed solving procedures are followed as described in Article A. Speed solving additional regulations that supersede the corresponding procedures in Article A are described below. B1A, there is no inspection period. B1B, the competitor applies their own blindfold. B2, starting the attempt. B2A, the judge sets the timers as in Regulation A3B and indicates that they are ready for the competitor to start the attempt, e.g. placing the puzzle cover in front of the competitor saying ready, giving a thumbs up signal. The competitor must start the attempt within 1 minute, else the competitor forfeits the attempt. DNS, at the discretion of the judge. B2B, the competitor uses their fingers to touch the elevated sensor surfaces of the timer. The competitor's palms must be facing down and located on the side of the timer that is closer to them. Penalty. Time penalty plus 2 seconds. Dash. Where was I? B2. I'm so hungry. B2. Dude, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. This is so dumb. So dumb. This is why I do smaller events like 3x3, Cube, Pura. Haters gonna talk. Billy can't compensate with the ops. Now, sticking the coins. Pushing the ops. Right. B2C, the competitor must have no physical contact. No physical contact with the puzzle before the start of the attempt. Penalty, time penalty plus 2 seconds. B2D, the competitor starts the attempt by removing their hands from the timer, thus starting the timer. This also starts the solve. B2D1, the competitor removes the cover from the puzzle after starting the timer. B2A, if a stopwatch is in use in addition to the Stackman timer, the judge starts the stopwatch as soon as the competitor starts the solve. B2F, if a stopwatch is in use only as the only timer, the competitor places their hands on the table instead of the Stackman timer. After confirming that they are ready, the competitor starts the solve by lifting the cover. The judge starts the stopwatch as soon as the competitor starts to solve. B3, memorization phase. B3A, the competitor may pick up the puzzle during the memorization phase. B3B, the competitor must not make any physical notes. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. DNF. B3C, the competitor must not apply moves to the puzzle during the memorization phase. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. DNF. B4, blindfolded phase. Before the competitor dons the blindfold to start the blindfolded phase. B4B, the competitor must not apply moves to the puzzle before they have fully donned the blindfold. Penalty, disqualification from the attempt. DNF. B4C, the judge must ensure that there is an opaque object between the competitor's face and the puzzle while the competitor is solving. B4C1, in all cases, the competitor must wear a blindfold such that their view of the puzzle would still clearly be blocked if the opaque object were not in the way. B4C2, by default, the judge should place the object, example being a sheet of paper or cardboard, between the competitor and the puzzle while the competitor is wearing the blindfold. B4C3, if the judge and competitor agree beforehand, the competitor may choose to place the puzzle behind a suitable object, example a music stand, on the surface of the table by themselves during the blindfolded phase. The competitor must not look at the puzzle at any point during the blindfolded phase. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. DNF. Before E. Until the competitor applies the first moves of the puzzle, they may remove the blindfold and to return to the memorization phase. B5, stopping the solve. B5A, when the stackment timer. When using the stackment timer, the competitor stops the solve by releasing the puzzle and then stopping the timer. B5B, when using a stopwatch, the competitor stops the solve by placing a puzzle back on the surface and notifying the judge they are stopping the solve. At that moment, the judge stops the timer. B5C, if the competitor is not touching the puzzle, they may remove the blindfold before they stop the timer. They must not touch the puzzle until the end of the attempt. Penalty for touching the puzzle, disqualification from the attempt. Alright, looking good. Only that much left. Like 30 minutes. Okay. Article C, one-handed solving. C1, standard speed solving procedures are as follows, as described in Article A, speed solving. Additional regulations that supersede the corresponding procedures in Article A are described below. C1B, during the solve, the competitor must use only one hand to operate the puzzle. Penalty, disqualification from the attempt. DNF. C1B2, if the puzzle defect occurs, the competitor chooses to repair it, they must repair it only using only the solved hand. Penalty, disqualification from the attempt. DNF. If other body parts of the competitor come in contact with the puzzle or parts of the puzzle without the competitor's intention and without implying moves, this is not considered operating the puzzle at the discretion of the judge. Using the solve, C1C, during the solve, once a competitor operates the puzzle with one hand, they must not operate the puzzle with the other hand. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. DNF. Article D, feat solving. Not going to skip it because it doesn't matter. D1, standard speed solving procedures are followed as described in Article A. Speed solving. Additional regulations that supersede the corresponding procedures in Article A are described below. D1A. Let's go. Ramadan, leave me alone. Okay. D1A, during the attempt, the competitor must sit in a chair, sit on the surface, or stand. You can stand it during feat solves. Why would you do that? Who would do that? Okay, D1B, imagine pulling up to last ever feat comp and just stand while doing a feat solve. Power move. D1B, during the solve, the competitor must use only their feet and the surface to operate the puzzle. Penalty, disqualification in the attempt. DNF. Starting D3, starting the solve. D3, the competitor places their feet onto the timer sensors. D3B, the competitor removes their feet from the timer sensors to start the solve. D4, stopping the solve. D4A, the competitor stops the timer by placing their feet onto the timer sensors. Okay. So close to the end. Sub 118, maybe? Article E, fewest move solving. E2, procedures for 3x3x3 fewest moves. E2A, the judge distributes a Scrabble sequence and paper to all competitors. The judge stops the stopwatch and calls go! Epic. E2A1, before the attempt has begun, the competitor must not write on any paper intended for the event. Exception, the competitor may write information to identify the attempt. See regulation E2C1. If they write this information on the paper that contains the scramble sequence, they must write only on the side without the scramble sequence before the attempt. Penalty for writing anything other than the information to identify the attempt, disqualification of the attempt. DNF. E2B, all competitors have a total time limit 60 minutes to find and write a solution. E2B1, the judge should call 5 minutes remaining at 55 minutes and then must call stop at 60 minutes. E2C, at 60 minutes, each competitor must submit to the judge a single piece of paper with a written solution and information to identify the attempt. E2C1, information to identify the attempt is the competitor's name, WCA ID, or competition registrant ID, at least one, optionally multiple, and optionally the competition name, round, or attempt number. Penalty for a submitted solution without a name, WCID, or competition registrant ID. Disqualification of the attempt, DNF. E2C2, the solution must be a single unambiguous move sequence with each individual move written out in sequential order. Penalty for unambiguous solution, disqualification from the attempt, DNF. E2C3, the competitor should clearly black out, scribble out all moves on the paper that are not part of their intended solution. E2C4. I know. But look how much I have left. That's it. Oh no, I can't go all the way down. Yeah. The competitor's solution must use only moves that are exactly defined as notation for 3x3 cube in Regulation 12A and must not use any symbols or combinations of symbols that are not specifically defined there. Penalty, disqualification, the attempt. E2C5, the competitor's solution is considered correct if starting with the solved puzzle and applying the scramble sequences followed. The solution results in a solved puzzle. Penalty for an incorrect solution. Disqualification of the attempt, DNF. Wait. E2D, the competitor's result is the number of moves in their solution calculated using outer block turn metric. See Regulation 12A5. E2D1, the competitor's solution must not exceed 80 moves, including rotations, when calculated using execution turn metric. See Regulation 12A6. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt. E2E, the competitor's solution must not be directly derived from any parts of the scramble sequence. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt at the DNF at the discretion of WCA delegate. E2E1, if the WCA delegate may ask the competitor to explain the purpose of each move in the solution, irrespective of the scramble sequence. If the competitor cannot give a valid explanation, the attempt is disqualified. DNF. E3, the competitor may use the following objects during the attempt. Penalty for using unauthorized objects, disqualification of the attempt. DNF. E3A, papers supplied by the judge and pens and pencils or similar supplied by the judge or optionally self-supplied. E3B, 3x3 cubes and most 3 self-supplied as described in Article 3. E3C, stickers self-supplied. Stopwatch or watch self-supplied for keeping track of the elapsed time if it is approved by the WCA delegate. Alright, this is it. The final stretch. Okay. Article F, clock solving. F1, standard speed solving procedures are followed as described in Article A, speed solving. Additional regulations that supersede the corresponding procedure in Article A are described below. F2, the judge places the scrambled puzzle on the mat in a standing position. F3, at the end of the inspection period, the competitor places the puzzle in a standing position. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt, DNF. F3A, the competitor must not change the positions at any point to the scrambled position before the start of the solve. Penalty, disqualification of the attempt, DNF. Alright. Wait, I gotta move this up because I can't see this. Okay. I think I'm Meryl Streep. Okay, sub 118. I got 30 seconds basically. Article H, multi-blind solving. H1, standard blindfold solving procedures are as follows as described in Article B, blindfolded solving. Additional regulations that supersede the correspondence procedures in Article B are described below. H1A, before an attempt, the competitor must submit to the organization team the number of puzzles, at least 2, that they wish to attempt. H1A1, a competitor is not permitted to change the number of puzzles after submitting their numbers to the organization team. H1A2, the competitor may request to keep their submission private until all competitors have submitted their numbers. Once all competitors have reported their numbers, the information becomes public. Example, a competitor may ask for the numbers of any other competitors before starting their attempt. H1A3, before the attempt, the scrambled puzzles must be placed in the table in arbitrary orientation while ensuring that the remains are completely covered. The puzzles should be arranged in a shape as a square as possible. Example, a puzzle should be arranged in 2 rows with 3 puzzles and 1 row with 2 puzzles. H1B, if a competitor is attempting fewer than 6 puzzles, they are allotted a time of 10 minutes times the number of puzzles in the attempt, else the time is 60 minutes. H1B, the competitor may signal the end of the attempt at any time, and if when the time limit is reached, the judge stops the attempt is scored. The time limit for the attempt counts as the original recorded time. Here it is. I don't have a dog. I have a cat. Alright. Sub 1 minute, 20 seconds. H1D. Time penalties for the puzzle. Okay, H1D. Time penalties for the puzzles of the attempt are cumulative. Bruh! Hold on, that's being blocked right there. There we go. W. I don't know. I don't know what to say. That's it. We're done. Good stream. Good stream. Good time. Fun time. A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, So much. Alright, well, yeah, bye. I guess. I mean, that's it. 1 hour, 19 minutes, 10 seconds, .83. Massive dub.